So, obviously, spoilers from the comics and possibly for the show as well. Um, so, do be wary of, what I'm about to say and all of this, because, this is my issue 144 review of The Walking Dead, and it is the last issue that's going to be packaged with the compendium, the third compendium that comes out this October. And, yeah, so spoilers, you have been warned. Let's get into it. To be honest, I don't know where to start with this issue. I guess we can talk about Alpha and Rick, mostly being that, they have their conversation. Alpha, she and the other Whisperers are like, yeah, we are animals, go animals. We're gonna, take you down, Rick, if you dare step on our territory. And Rick's like, wow, you're crazy. And basically, there's more to the conversation, and to be honest, there's honestly more to the conversation. You can obviously look at it. There's something there. There's, like I said before, they're on two different ends of the spectrums when it comes to humanity. Like on one end, where you have the Whisperers and Alpha, you have people who believe in their animal instincts. It is our right to be we are animals at heart. And we have just grown, adapted to all these minuscule things, like being attached to life, all these small things that don't really matter, where we should just embrace our animal side, so that way, only the strong survive and all this shenanigans. And then you have Rick, who is on the other end of the spectrum, which should be this side, because I never did this side, where you have where you have society, where those things, those minuscule things that make us happy, though it makes us happy, it makes us also human and not animals, and thus putting a difference between the two. And it's very, I feel philosophical, if I can get my words out, especially compared to all the other antagonists. When compared to the Alpha, is because you have someone like Negan, who's to be honest, I just want control. And then you have somebody like the governor, same thing. All I want is the prison, control, get rid of you because you're my antagonist and all this whatnot. But Alpha here is actually, we haven't seen yet if she can we know she has an army of walkers and whispers. She has a community. Well, I say community, but she has brain. She's not straight up stupid, and and she knows what she's doing. So the only thing that we haven't actually seen is her I feel her mental capability on how her and Rick's philosophies, their ideologies, will clash with one another. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, Rick wants, Carl to, Carl, we're getting out of here. We can't step on friggin' Whisperer's boundaries anymore. And, Carl is doing the same thing as he has been doing for the last few issues. I ain't leaving without Lydia. And, freaking Alpha's she will not leave and all this whatnot. And, Carl brings up, they rape her, Dad. They rape her. And it's you, what? You let them rape your own daughter? And Alpha, she goes into she's about to go into a spiel about how rape, what is so wrong with it, right? It's like a sitcom with Seinfeld. But obviously as humans we know that rape is wrong. And she's just it's just us being animals. I don't see a problem with it. And then I feel she stops her whole way mid through, where she's you're weak. That's what you are, Lydia. You're weak. Go with them. Go to a society where you'll be protected and all of this. And it's so Alpha is kind of human. She still has some human qualities, even though they're very minuscule. And it adds more dimension into her character, because in the end, even though she is the leader, and she talks about how she'll be the leader because someone had to fill that spot, and she won't be the leader when someone comes and takes it, and maybe that someone might be Negan. That might be foreshadowing, I guess. But it's she in the end, she's still a parent. She's still a mother. She still cares Lydia somewhere. And if anything, even though you're a parent, parents have existed in our world who are human, horrible, they've done horrible things to their children, whether it be killing them, whatever it is. And thing is, even though you're a parent, you care for your child, and sometimes some parents don't do that, as I mentioned earlier. And in this case, I feel like parents, if anything, the only thing that they feel in the end will be regret if they do, like, said things. And, maybe, like, Alpha regrets, like, getting Lydia raped and all of this. But, in the end, like, Lydia's gonna go with Rick and them to the safe zone. And on their way back, we see things. They're not very pleasant things. It's like something that you see in Game of Thrones, but it's not Game of Thrones. It's The Walking Dead. And it's a bunch of heads on spikes. Now these, oh man, now these heads, they're all from one place, the Alexandria safe zone, and some people from the Hilltop Colony, but the people in the Hilltop Colony were at the safe zone anyway. Most of the characters, I believe, like, I think it was like 8 people who died. Like 5 of them were like minor characters that didn't have that much of a, like, impact on the story, or maybe like 4 of them. Like half of them were like just like background characters. The other 4 were like supporting slash decent, like some good characters. So I'm gonna go from least important to important on like the deaths and what they mean or how they're gonna impact the next story. That being, it's very interesting on how they did it. They show the person's head on the spike, and it's like, where is this person? And they do that for every character. And Olivia is probably the least important out of like the rest, because she was in charge of like Negan. She was in charge of, I'm pretty sure she's still in charge of like food and all of this, and now she's not, because she dead. But that's about it for her. But then the next person, I don't remember his name exactly, but he was one of the dudes that came with Magna and her group, and this might affect the story, because due to the fact, freaking what's her name, Magna is gonna be like, how did you let someone infiltrate the safe zone? It's called safe zone for a reason, and kill one of my guys. Like, how is that possible? So this might cause tension with like Magna and Rick, or it might like bring them together even more to take down the Whisperers. And then next is obviously Rosita, which, God, that one was kind of bad because it was so unexpected. Like everyone else, like I really didn't care about until like the next person, but there was Rosita, and the thing about Rosita was she was pregnant too, so that makes it even worse. And Eugene's probably, I don't know what Eugene's gonna do, because when they were showing the panel of like the person talking about them, like, oh yeah, where is this person? The freaking Eugene is like just like rolling like all through all these papers. So I don't. Oh man, like that one came out of nowhere. And thing was, like, Rosita and Eugene were together in the last issue, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like wondering like what happened. We'll get into that. And then the next person, I think this is the most major death, and a lot of people predicted this. It was Ezekiel, and I think I predicted it too. Oh man, that's just, it was just so sad, especially when you see, like, after Ezekiel's big reveal, like last week, how he still has feelings for Michonne. Michonne still has feelings for him too. You see in the issue, like right after, or the panel right after, it's like you see Michonne crying, and she's like just clenching her fist, and Andrea asks, "What? So now, Rick, what are we gonna do?" Now, before I get into like what I think Rick's gonna do, is like, how the hell did freaking Alpha like get all these people out and slaughter them, right? Or decapitate them rather, where it doesn't make much sense due to the fact, I don't know, maybe 2 days have passed since like Rick left. I don't think it's much more than that, because that wouldn't really make much sense, because Ezekiel was right after, like last week or in the last issue, where he was coming right after to Michonne. So 2 days at most, right? If anything, it's 1 day. And thing is, I don't want to make predictions too much, but I'm assuming Alpha did this by herself. And the thing is, it's like, how did Alpha lead these people out? And this is kind of the scary part, because it's one thing to show a decapitated head on a spike, in the middle of the forest, all lined up, right? That's one thing. That's already like kind of messed up enough. But the scary part, and I feel like this is really good like storytelling, at least like imagery, where we don't know how Alpha did it. That's the scary part. All we know is that she had a machete, it had blood over it, and then we see the outcome, but we don't see how she got from A to B. And are like people in the safe zone just not like paying attention of like the people leaving? I understand there's a lot of people, right? And like, do you not see this like bald lady who's like, hey, wasn't she talking to like Olivia earlier? Now she's talking to Rosita. Where'd Olivia go? I don't see her. And it's like, it's what? And then there's like Rosita, where you have like, did you not like pay like, do you know this lady, or like Did like she drug you? Like what'd she do? And it's like, where was Eugene? And it's like, I really want to see like how Kirkman executed this. No pun intended. Because it's definitely interesting on how Alpha did it. Because I'm really curious on how she did it. Like, did she just like, hey, come here, I know where X person is. Switching. Hey, come here, I know where X person is. Switching. Hey, Ezekiel. What? Switching. Anyway, moving on to what's Rick gonna do. Like, obviously, we left on a cliffhanger on the issue, just ending the third compendium there. And, I think it's the last of the volume, too. Anyway, so Rick, he doesn't have the same mindset. And note, this is a prediction. Anyway, moving on. Rick doesn't have the same mindset as he did, like before the time skip. Now, well, I wouldn't say that's exactly true. He somewhat has the same mindset, but now he has more on the line. Because, like, Rick, a few years ago, or whatever the time skip was, when he was facing Negan, he was somewhat in his prime, right? He already lost his hand, but, he could still fight and whatnot, but then Negan broke his leg, so now his leg's broken, so now he uses crutches and all of this. Like, now, if Rick went to war now, he's putting a lot of things on the line because he can't fight alongside everyone else. Like, if Andrea decides to, go out in the field, he can't be out there with her because, he can't do much. What, he can shoot a gun and, beat people up with, like, a stick? Yeah, that's one thing, but you're going up against a bunch of, like, an army of walkers and whisperers, and that's, like, another scary thing. And not only that, Rick has a lot more people to worry about than he did before. Like, before Rick, he didn't really care about the citizens. I feel like he didn't care about the citizens as much as like his the main group and everyone else, because like that was his family, right? He wanted to make sure they're protected, and then once everything over, he can build up society again, and which he did. Like if he loses, Rick loses everything. He loses the society. He loses the community. Like he loses the system that he built. That's all gonna go to like down the gutter if he loses, and that's a lot on the line. Especially when you consider Alpha has an army of walkers. That's crazy. Like walkers, like we all know, we've seen the show. I'm assuming if you watch Game of Thrones too, an army of the undead is very scary. Especially considering like the head, you have to like shoot them or stab them in the head, to actually kill them, and you can't take body shots to make them stop. Well, sort of, but it's an army of them. Not only that, it's people in there too, controlling them. So it's very scary, and what Rick is going to do, it's definitely going to be interesting. Remember, Negan is still in the play. Maybe Rick lets Negan out, and Negan goes ham by himself, which I can predict that he can do, because Negan's that kind of guy. And honestly, I don't know what Rick is going to do. Like, at this point, I feel like he's too unpredictable. Like, at the same time, you can't go to war. Like, Rick can decide to not go to war with the Whisperers, but then you have, like, freaking Michonne, who's going to be, like, hell-bent on getting revenge for Ezekiel. You're going to have, like, these people, like, are, like, Rick's people. This is his family. This is the society that he built together with these people. Some, like, didn't exactly agree with Rick in certain situations, but, these are still people that Rick cared about. Holy crap, this is getting really long. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this current issue 144, down in the comments below. If you want to go to the extra mile, let me know your predictions, because I always like reading them. Sometimes I get time to reply, but sometimes I don't get to. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this review. Let me know your thoughts of what I said and all that whatnot down in the comments below too. If you don't want to answer the other two, I'm using the word "too" a lot, even though the different variations. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Those shenanigans. Leave a like if you think the video deserves it. Subscribe to my channel if you like what you saw. If you haven't already. See you guys all next time. Until then, bye bye.